Welcome to my kitchen. This is your girl, Eating with Food for Thought Roberts. Welcome to my kitchen. Welcome to my home. Welcome to my channel. Tonight, I am going to be making homemade bread. This is a quick, easy, throw together bread, but it takes time for the wait time, like the rising of the flour and the baking of the bread and stuff. That's where your wait time comes in. But as far as putting this together, easy peasy, quick and simple. First, we're going to use 1.5 cups of hot water, not boiling water, and it has to be, you can touch it without burning yourself. So this is a cup, this is 1.5 cups right here. Hot water. Next, we're going to put in the yeast, the salt, and the sugar. I used 1/2 teaspoon of yeast, 1.5 teaspoons of salt, 1/2 teaspoon of sugar, and 1.5 cups of hot water. And this is the dry ingredients. So we're going to put that in there. Then I'm going to stir it up. And we're going to use 3 cups of flour. Now with the flour, what I'm going to do with that, I'm not going to just dump it all in at the same time, but I'm going to do it in the sink because I want you to see exactly what I am doing. I'm adding the flour a little at a time, like maybe half. I'm just going to stir it up, get everything incorporated. Now, when you're making this, you can also add other ingredients. Like you may want to use rosemary. You may want to use fresh garlic. Let me use this. Rosemary, fresh garlic, olive oil, whatever you want to use to make it your own. Garlic powder, onion powder, basil. Make it how you like it. Now, this one right here, I'm not going to put any thing extra in it. Just what I just told you. But I also have another one that I've already made up. I just want you to see how I do it. And then we're going to get straight into the other one. And the other one has the basil and the fresh garlic and garlic powder in it. And that's what you want. You want to get different flavors. You don't want the same old taste because you can change this bread into anything you want it. Now, I heard that when the pandemic started, people couldn't find bread in the stores. Now, I'm in California, Northern California, and we didn't have that problem. And if we did, it missed me because every time I went to the store, we had lots and lots of bread. So maybe it was down south or back east that they were having problems, but out here on the West Coast, up north, we didn't have any problems at all. Now this is the consistency you want. You want it to be just like this. You try to get all the flour incorporated as much as possible. You don't need any more water. This is it. And the only thing you're going to do now, once it gets to this consistency, you leave it alone. Leave it just like that. You take you some saran wrap. Saran wrap over your bowl. And you cover it, and you put it in a draft-free area. Do not put this in the oven. Do not turn the oven on and let it rise in the oven like that. You just want to cover it up. And after you put this over it, then put a towel over top of this. and you're going to let this rise for 3 hours. Now that's where the time comes in. Now if you have time, let it rise for 3 hours. And while it's rising for 3 hours, you might be making another video. And by the time you finish with that next video, this is going to be ready. So here we go. Just cover it up with a towel, and I'm going to take this and set this over on the other side of the room. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Dutch oven along with the lid inside of the oven. Now they say you can use any type of flour. You can use either bread flour or regular flour. I chose bread flour. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to take a little bit of flour, put over my cutting board, and make sure my hands have flour, because it does get sticky. Okay, now this is the bread I made with the this has rosemary, garlic, and garlic powder in it. I just took a couple of sprigs of rosemary, like this. This is it. A couple of sprigs of rosemary. Stripped them down, chopped them up. I took 4 cloves of garlic, chopped it up, and I didn't even measure the garlic powder. I think I used about a teaspoon or a teaspoon and a half of garlic powder added to the other ingredients that I showed you. So we're going to dump this out on the cutting board. Let me get my spatula. And it's very sticky. And it smells, oh my goodness, it smells so good. That's it. So good. A little bit more flour, put on the top. And we're just going to knead this. You know what? I'm going to use this. If you don't have one of these little scrapers, these things come in so handy. I have had this for probably 15 years. Okay? 15 years. Yeah. Just knead the bread. Doesn't take a lot of kneading, but you're just going to knead it. And what you're going to do, you're going to take some parchment paper. Everybody, get you some parchment paper. If you don't have parchment paper, you're going to take you some parchment paper, and you're going to stick the parchment paper inside of the bowl. Now we're going to take the parchment paper, which I have ready right here, and we're going to put it inside the bowl. I use 2 pieces. Because when you bake it, you're going to bake it with the parchment paper on it. So you want to get everything in here. Take my bread. It's inside the parchment paper. I'm going to cover this back up with some saran wrap. And I'm going to put a towel on top of it. And once the Dutch oven comes up to temperature, because you have to put it into a hot Dutch oven. Once the Dutch oven comes up to temperature, then I'm going to remove it just like this and set it into the Dutch oven. Dutch oven goes back into the oven, and we're going to cook it for 30 minutes. So let's let that rise. Let's let the Dutch oven come up to temperature, and we'll be back. Just want to let you guys know the type of yeast I used. I used the Fleischmann's Active Dry Yeast. They say this yeast is different from the instant. They say the instant reacts quicker and this reacts slower. So I'm letting everything rise for 3 hours. And maybe if you use the instant, it probably takes an hour and a half, no more than 2 hours to rise. But this is the type of yeast I have. I just removed the Dutch oven from the oven. The oven is up to 450 degrees. The Dutch oven is very hot. And this is what the bread looks like. And it has risen some more. So now I'm going to lift this and going to place that into the Dutch oven. You got to be very careful because that Dutch oven is hot and you can burn yourself, and that's what we're not trying to do. So I'm just going to lift this and set this in here because I don't have any of those mitts, and everything is going to cook up in there. Now I saw somebody do this. I saw them take a pair of shears. No, they use a knife, but I'm going to use these shears just to make a little crisscross so it can be pretty. You make it a little crisscross. Let's see how I did. Okay, that's good enough. Remember, this is my first time baking this bread. So I'm going to put the lid back on top. I catch on pretty fast. I'm slow, but I'm not that slow. Put the lid on top. And this is going back into the oven for 30 minutes. Okay, let's take it out and see what we got. You gonna know when I know. I gotta get me some other mitts. Ooh, this thing is heavy. You just got a Dutch oven. I've never had one. This is my first one. As a matter of fact, when I bought this one, I bought two. Just in case. Let's see what we got going on over here. Ooh. Okay. That's cute. Look, y'all. I'm so proud. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it back in the oven and let it cook for about 10 to 15 minutes or until it gets golden brown the way I want it. So I'm going to set my timer for 10 minutes, check it, and if it's good, I'll take it out, and if it's not good, I'll put it in for 5-minute increments. Let's get this back in the oven. It goes back in the oven without the lid, so there will be no lid. The buzzer just went off again. So let's see, it's been 10 minutes. And I think that's all we need. So I'm going to clear this off. And if I need more, I can just always turn it back on. Because this stove is making this kitchen super hot. Let's open it up. See, ooh, this looks good. Oh my goodness. She did that. Now that's 10 minutes more on the bread. So that's a total of 40 minutes exactly bake time. 30 minutes with the lid on, 10 minutes with the lid off. And all the videos I watched today, this is exactly how the bread looked. And oh my goodness, I am so excited. Now I'm going to let it cool down a little bit, and then we're going to cut this and see what's really good. I just want to show you guys. I was trying to take it out. Okay, I'm taking out the first piece of parchment paper. It's giving me the blues. Okay, first piece of parchment paper, second piece. Okay, I thought I was going to have to use my tongs because I grabbed my tongs to pick it up. And you can pick it up with the tongs, but once I remove the first piece of parchment, now I got it on there. Now it's good to go. We're going to let it cool down, and then we're going to cut it. Let's cut this bread. It's been 5 minutes. It's still hot, so we're going to get it cut anyway. I'm going to cut it just like they did in the other video. Straight down the middle, and I hope it comes out okay. It looks like that rustic French bread. You know, that artesian style bread. the sourdough bread. That's what it kind of reminds me of, sourdough. Okay, cut it this way. I'm over here sweating trying to cut this bread. All right. I'm going to bring this straight to the camera. Look at that, y'all. And yes, it is hot, but I can still handle it. This is my homemade bread with rosemary, fresh rosemary, and fresh garlic. And also I added garlic powder to this. So we're going to see what this tastes like. Both pieces came out. Look at that. That's how they were supposed to come out, and that's how they came out. Really, really yummy. I'm so proud of myself. Oh my goodness. My son is going to get half of this loaf and half of the other loaf, because he lives around the corner. Okay. And they said it was easy. This is an easy recipe. I just want a little bit of butter. Use my spreadable butter with canola oil. This kind of stuff is good with, hold on. Let me show you something. This kind of bread is also good with not just butter, a little balsamic vinegar. When I go to restaurants and I have bread similar to this is how I eat it. I don't use butter. And a little olive oil. And all you do is take it, dip it, just like that. A lot of people know what I'm talking about. A lot of people know what I'm talking about. And you taste it. Y'all better make some of this bread. This bread is good. Crunchy. Crunchy on the outside. Soft. And fluffy and light on the inside. The rosemary and the garlic is not overpowering. I use 1.5 teaspoons of salt. And that's exactly what I needed. That's the butter side. That's the other side. It's good. You guys try this. Thank you for watching. Thank you for sharing this bread with me. I wish I had smell-o-vision so you guys could smell what it tastes like. I wish some of you guys were here so we can all share this together and be done with it. Put myself out of my misery. This is your girl eating with Food for Thought Roberts. Thank you for stopping on by. If you have not subscribed to my channel, now is a good time to hit that subscription button. Just hit it. Bam, bam, bam. Hit the subscription button, the notification bell. Give me a thumbs up. Like, comment, share this video with others so that they can know what your girl eating with Food for Thought Roberts is over here doing. And they can make some of this good. Because this bread is that good. And I will see you on the next video. I'm leaning down, y'all, because I'm not sure if you guys can see me if I stand up. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. But anyway, I know for sure you can see me right here. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you stopping by. I appreciate you viewing my channel. And I will see you on the next the next video. That's my time. I'm out. Y'all better make this.